Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
It has been almost 32 years since Jurassic Park released. We've gotten 6 movies and 1 on deck, but only 1 being iconic. There is no Aliens or Terminator 2 for Jurassic Park. I thought it would be a good time to go through the Jurassic franchise. I'll be going through each in chronological order, from my favorite movie of all time to the nostalgic cash grab. First, I'll run through the plot of all of them, and this is a very last-minute edition, so it'll be fast. Then I'll do a little bit of analysis of each of the movies and what I think of them. I'll even add in a little extra. So, let's take a stroll in the woods, about 32 years in the making. Jurassic Park. John Hammond created a park with dinosaurs in it.
We have a T-Rex.
And because of safety concerns, he needed some experts to come in and sign off on the park.
48 hours from now, if they're not convinced, I'm not convinced. I'll shut you down, John.
In 48 hours, I'll be accepting your apologies.
While these experts are there, an employee of the park, to steal some dinosaur embryos, shuts down all the safety systems, and then the whole park goes into chaos. The new goal is to get off the island. The Lost World Jurassic Park, a second island with dinosaurs, exists, and a family goes there, not knowing it's Dinosaur Island, and then a girl gets attacked. This allows Peter Ludlow to take over InGen and work on taking dinosaurs off the island. But Hammond, before the island can be plundered, is going to send a team there to document the dinosaurs, to try and sway public opinion so dinosaurs don't get taken off the island. One member of the team had a second objective, to sabotage InGen if they showed up, and of course, they show up, and the sabotage is a go. Both groups get trapped on the island because of the sabotage and T-Rexes. Now both have to try and get off the island. They need to find a radio, and there's one at an old facility, but there are T-Rexes and raptors in the way to make this difficult. A call is sent out, and the people that are trapped are going to get rescued, but a T-Rex and a baby T-Rex are captured and are going to be brought to San Diego. The T-Rex gets out, and now they need to get it back on the ship and send it back to the island, which does happen. Jurassic Park 3. A kid gets trapped on the island. His parents trick Grant into going with them to get their son back. The whole thing goes wrong, and now everyone is trapped on the island.
My God!
Our group is being attacked by a Spinosaurus and a pack of raptors, and eventually a phone call is made and everybody gets off the island. Jurassic World. A rebooted park is made, and it's made fully open. So Henry Wu has made a new hybrid dinosaur that gets out and starts to take down the whole park. Our main cast needs to survive and take down the Indominus Rex, the new hybrid. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Isla Nublar's volcano is going to erupt, killing all the dinosaurs on the island. Claire gets brought in by a new old man who knew Hammond and his assistant to help save the dinosaurs. When Claire and Owen get to the island, we find out the assistant is a part of a plan to get the dinosaurs off the island and sell them.
Bastard! It was all a lie!
Which happens at an auction for the dinosaurs, and we find out another hybrid has been made, the Indoraptor, which gets out and starts killing people. We also find out the new old man cloned his daughter, which is the girl that's been in this movie, and as this mansion that they're all in, where the auction is happening, is getting wrecked, the dinosaurs are trapped and are going to die by poison gas, and the girl lets the dinosaurs out.
I had to. They're alive. Like me.
Okay, last one. Jurassic World Dominion. Biosyn has been making grasshoppers that are eating the whole world's food supply so they can get control.
These locusts in Nebraska are about to wrap it up. They're eating the corn, wheat, basically all of our food and our food's food, so we can say goodbye to this.
Also, Biosyn wants to get Maisie as well. Biosyn kidnaps both Blue's kid and Maisie. The original characters from Jurassic Park show up to stop the Jurassic grasshoppers, while Claire and Owen are there for Maisie. Maisie, because she's a clone with her DNA changed, can stop the grasshoppers, and Blue's kid is identical to Blue, so she can be used to see what changed from Maisie, I guess. In the end, Maisie and Blue's kid are saved, and Henry Wu uses what he learns from the clones to stop the grasshoppers. Let's start at the top. Jurassic Park, for those who don't know, is originally a book by Michael Crichton, and it was obviously made into a movie. The basic idea for the book, which came out in 1990, was exploring the genetic possibilities that were new at the time, and the future of these technologies and the dangers they could present. The book, as well, covers chaos theory,
the essence of chaos,
using it to explain how this park was inevitably going to fail. This combination of ideas works together really well. The movie basically follows these ideas. It just speeds up the story and condenses characters together. The book is a slower descent into the chaos of Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Before the park's collapse, everyone finds out that some of the dinosaurs have escaped and are breeding out in the wild.
The dinosaurs are breeding.
Two things the staff at the park did not think possible.
There's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park.
Also, in the book, the deaths are more brutal. Nedry's death is worse, and Hammond also does not make it out of the first book. He goes out via compies, like Dieter Stark in the second movie. To highlight a few changes from book to movie. One is trying to contact the mainland to let them know about raptors that are on a boat so they don't get to the mainland. This gives a time limit for everyone to get the park back up and running so they can call the mainland before the boat with the raptors arrives. Another change is the Malcolm effect, or a second collapse of the park, where the power fails again, leading to the raptor attack. Both book and movie are great. Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time, and if you've not read the book, you should give it a try.
Something big.
The second book and movie were made because Jurassic Park made so much money. Both book and movie have this "we probably should not be doing this" feeling to it. Now, the second movie, The Lost World Jurassic Park, does have my second or third favorite action scene in the series, the T-Rex trailer part. Other than that, the movie really struggles to do much. And there's the one scene. You know the one. The characters are actually okay. And when on the island, it's actually a pretty fun movie. It's the ending in San Diego where things really start to go wrong. So, first, it's not a good ending. Second, it made problems for the continuation of all the succeeding movies, and you might ask, why? Well, now the whole world knows for a fact dinosaurs are back and roughly where they are. So now all future movies now are going to have to take this into account.
You hear me there?
Yes, I can, Bernard. We are in fact halfway to the island. It is 206 nautical miles from our present location. The ship is moving at about 20 knots, which will put it in at about 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. One of the Navy's primary concerns through all of this has been safety, and if we take another look around the ever-growing escort around the ship, they are taking no chances of a repeat of the San Diego incident.
And what I just said is about to be promptly ignored in the third movie. Jurassic Park 3. The one we all tried to forget. But it's real. I never thought, man, I really need a dream sequence with a talking raptor in it. But Jurassic Park 3 found a way.
Alan! Alan!
Remember like 2 seconds ago when I said it made problems for the continuation of all the succeeding movies, and you might ask, why? Well, now the whole world knows for a fact dinosaurs are back and roughly where they are. So now all future movies now are going to have to take this into account. Jurassic Park 3 does this with the government's restricting access to the islands, but security is so lax that tourists can get there and do whatever thing they're doing at the beginning of the movie. Also, you can just fly a plane to the island. But one call from Sattler's husband, who's in the State Department, and the US military shows up so fast I would have thought oil was found.
Oil?
Who said oil? Where?
I don't know. Someone said oil.
The call Grant sends out does not make sense. We don't get the perspective of the military being told this information and asking, how do you know this? I really want to be a fly on the wall when the government and the military are told that some little kid said Dinosaur Man called and the State Department guy's wife saying it came from Dinosaur Island. That would be the real entertainment for the movie right there. So much of this movie is ridiculous. A lot of the characters are also just annoying. The Kirbys, the divorced couple, are, you know what, I'll just be nice here and call them unpleasant. And the kid that has been stuck on Dinosaur Island for, what, like over a month, is just survived for the plot, I guess? The guy Grant brings with, Billy, also not a great character. The conflict between him and Grant does not really come to a very satisfying conclusion, and the list of problems is so long. At least Jurassic Park 3's runtime is a little over an hour and a half. At least it did not take up our time, unlike most modern movies that make you sit through 2.5 hours of slop.
That is one big pile of shit.
Then we get into the era of the perpetual development for Jurassic Park 4. The proposals for Jurassic Park 4 were thankfully never made. If you think we live in the bad timeline, the one with Jurassic Park 4 would be much worse. The reason why I say that is it involved human-dinosaur hybrids, or at least that was one idea of what to do with that movie. That would have been a terrible idea, and I think we all dodged a bullet there. This idea of hybrids in the Jurassic World movies probably comes from the ideas from the failed attempts to make Jurassic Park 4. Even Jurassic World Dominion has Maisie being a clone using InGen's tech. Sort of the human hybrid idea, she's just not half dinosaur though. Jurassic Park 4, its DNA seems to live on in the next trilogy, which might be why its ideas are kinda confused and often not that good. The Jurassic World movies start with an interesting concept. What if the park was fully operational and failed? A park with more than like 6 guests and the staff?
What's the live count? 22,216.
What if it was thousands of people? The biggest problem is at the start of the movie with how does this place exist, especially on the same island as the first park? How did the Costa Rican and US governments just let this happen when they know the damage the previous park caused? Going back to that big problem at the end of the Lost World Jurassic Park, going to San Diego is the world knows what InGen has been doing, and that should make it basically impossible for this second or a reboot of the park to exist. Taking one of the more interesting theoreticals of what if the park was completed out of the equation, unless you just don't care and do it anyway. Jurassic World starts the problems of hybrid dinosaurs.
It's not a real dinosaur.
No, it ain't, kid.
Now, hybrids are something you could imagine happening, just not for the reasons the movie says.
We know that the military needs to reduce casualties. Some people think that robots are the future. Look, nature gave us the most effective killing machines 75 million years ago, and now we know they can take orders.
Which is for a military purpose. Even I, with a very limited knowledge of how US procurement works, a weapon that could eat American soldiers would be so bad it would top the Mark 14 torpedo among a few other bad ideas. I think if the movie played into humans and science needing to push forward, creating the ultimate killing machine, that scientists and executives could not help themselves, both not understanding the consequences and the odds of failure fit better.
Don't worry, Ian. I'm not making the same mistakes again.
No, you're making all new ones.
This is a very similar idea to the ideas in Jurassic Park, but I think being closer to Jurassic Park is better than what they did. Obviously, the military idea in Jurassic World is new for the franchise, but it's not really new in media. It feels like every AI or biological experiment that goes wrong in media are for military purposes or were meant to be weaponized, making this new idea for the franchise feel old and tired. Jurassic World has some decent acting in it. I think the actors, who are the two brothers, did a decent job. It's a basic storyline, but one that's at least executed competently. And one reason I think the Jurassic World movies did well is star power. Yeah, I'm talking about Chris Pratt. Not long before Jurassic World was Guardians of the Galaxy, and people like Parks and Rec. I have not really watched Parks and Rec except for a few episodes with friends, but to put it simply, I think star power had a bit to do with the success of this trilogy. The other thing that gave Jurassic World success was a giant helping of nostalgia. There is something to the slow start showing off Jurassic World. The introduction to Jurassic World does remind me of the first hour of Jurassic Park and the way that it builds. Now, this beginning to the movie does have plenty of problems, and the problems mainly come from the control room and the characters in it. Oh yeah, by the way, Rexy, Jurassic Park / World's mascot, is still around somehow. I mean, someone's gotta have like a Godzilla showdown with the Indominus Rex, and I guess who better than the mascot of the entire franchise? Jurassic World is ultimately a sequel with very little heart, and it's not very good because it does not have anything new to say, along with many writing problems. Now, of the sequel trilogy movies, it actually had an interesting idea behind it. What if the park was fully open? The rest of the sequel movies do not have this. The movies succeeding this one seem to have no ideas behind them and no real plan. And clearly, there was no plan beyond this first Jurassic World movie. That was always a problem for me when I can tell there just is no plan.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Everyone wants a film franchise, a universe, but there's almost never a plan beyond wanting one. Even if someone comes up with a plan, whether it's good or bad, there seems to be very little will to actually execute these plans, if they were to theoretically exist. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is, how best to put it, too many different ideas crammed into one movie, along with definitely feeling like a sequel to a reboot sequel. In a better, alternate reality, only Jurassic Park exists, but we're stuck with the one we got. The ideas here are the volcano on Isla Nublar is going to erupt, killing all the dinosaurs on the island. We also got a dinosaur black market, as well as releasing the dinosaurs into the world. along with the marketing telling people Ian Malcolm was going to be in this movie, which he is for like 2 minutes. There are two things that this movie does that irritate me. The first one is, in general, about sequels changing or altering history to fit the plot of the sequel. Most of the time, this just leaves questions. Why was this important information from the past not been included in the earlier movies? And it just becomes clear to the audience that this was all conceived after the first movie was made, so we can have a plot for this movie. This happens in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom with a new old man who was business partners and friends with Hammond. Now this is confusing because this should be information you would think we would know. Now all this just leads to Maisie, the girl.
What girl?
Who it turns out is a clone of the old man's daughter, because she died. Not like this daughter is actually the best scientist in the world. They wouldn't do that. Right?
She was brilliant. In ways that I'll never be.
The next major problem regards the foundation for this movie, and you can include many others as well. The obvious, we don't have a plan part of many sequels, and this movie screams it with how many ideas it has in it. It seems like they knew what they wanted to do with the ending, having the dinosaurs get out into the world. But otherwise, they just had a vague string of ideas that don't fit well together. And somehow they don't remember that Site B exists, the island that at this point 2 of the 5 movies have been on. They could have dropped the dinosaurs there when the volcano exploded, and yes, I know, these people are the bad guys, and that was not their plan. But why no one asks this question is a little bit confusing. And you know what? I'll answer my own question. It would break the plot. Another thing about this movie, it feels like people can just show up out of nowhere, or people don't get spotted depending on what the movie requires at the time. Jurassic World Dominion is the movie that was supposed to put the world in Jurassic World. Instead, it gave you 5 minutes of evidence that dinosaurs are out in the world, and then puts the rest into a nature reserve. Basically a park. And that's the end of that idea. Now, I don't really like the idea of the dinosaurs being out in the world, but they did not even really try and use it. I guess I got what I wanted, but still, they didn't even try and use the idea, so what was actually the point of ever including it? Well, let's get to the one thing I remembered most about this movie. It is extremely nostalgia heavy. There is countless times this movie is copying stuff from the Jurassic Park movies and also from the Jurassic World movies. That's why the Ian Malcolm line where he just says Dodson for some reason in the latter part of the movie is so strange. I thought I forgot a line from Jurassic Park, but that's Dodson, we got Dodson here. The line isn't just Dodson. So, the movie is trying to nostalgia you with stuff that isn't even nostalgia. And we were told well over an hour before that Dodson scene I was talking about that he's in the movie. He's in the first 2 minutes of the movie. And also, this movie has a very Last Jedi-like section. I'll elaborate. The whole Finn and Rose on the casino planet that just feels like it shouldn't be there and was taking up runtime. Yeah, so most of the scenes with Sattler and Grant and basically all the original characters kind of have that exact same feel to it. These probably just shouldn't be here. The writers seem to have no idea what to do with these characters, so they kind of just mill around and have very clunky scenes. Now, all this leads up so that these characters can get the DNA for the Jurassic grasshoppers. And I should explain the main plot points. One is, Biosyn has let loose Jurassic grasshoppers out into the world, and they're eating all the food, except for the crops that Biosyn has engineered. And that's the plot for our original characters. While the new Jurassic World characters are looking for Maisie, who got kidnapped, along with Blue's kid. Now, Blue's kid just somehow materialized out of nowhere, so that's why Blue Jr. is needed to complete the grasshoppers eating the whole world's food supply scheme, and that's how these two plots tie together. I'm going to have to start speeding through this movie a bit more because there's a lot wrong with it. So Grant is not handled very well in this movie. He is another legacy character that can be added to the giant pile of characters that Hollywood has assassinated. Henry Wu is another character who went from being possibly a interesting villain throughout this new trilogy to a broken man who has a lot of regrets and basically ends up being a good guy by the end of this movie. Ian Malcolm is here to just let Jeff Goldblum do Jeff Goldblum things. And I guess Sattler's there, so yeah, I guess. This is a good example of the sequel problem in the last 10 years. An empty cash grab. You have the casts of both Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and this is what we got. Just something boring. Now, this whole project did get made because Jurassic World Rebirth is going to be out soon. And that got me thinking about the Jurassic franchise. Now, I don't like to speculate about movies before they release, but the one thing I can say is there's a good chance Rebirth will make over $1 billion. All the Jurassic World movies did. Now, there was a fall off in earnings between each one, but $1 billion is still $1 billion. This franchise, unlike superhero movies or Star Wars, has not dumped 10 TV shows and 4 movies a year on us. So people seem to be willing to go see dinosaurs eat people every few years. As well, people always point out every franchise should have stopped after the first movie, or after X movie. I basically agree with these people, but money talks, and as long as the Jurassic movies keep making money, we will get more of them. With having an all-new cast, it will be interesting to see the results, both from the writing, the artistic side, and from the financial standpoint of what happens with this movie.